in my journey how some people flourish, some people manage to make things happen, manage to lead, and some people don't. And you realize I realized it has less to do with intelligence. It is something else that makes some people tick. How is it that some people seem to have better well-being, better success, better joy in their life, while others don't? And it is not to do with education. I'm Murtaza Esufally, and I've had a 30-year career in business and leading many entrepreneurial ventures, especially in healthcare. And I've come to realize that the skills and the mindsets necessary, especially for children in the 21st century, they are much more soft skills like empathy, kindness, gratitude, growth mindset, finding meaning and purpose. And these are the skills that I wish through the foundation that my wife and I set up called Life Lanka to help impart to especially disadvantaged children and teachers in Sri Lanka.
Our ultimate or end goal is to change the lives of children and give them socio-emotional skills. But we want to start with teachers. We want them to recognize the importance and the value of socio-emotional skills, and also we want them to be transformed and changed themselves. So our training will be directed at the teachers first, so that they are aware, they are emotionally literate, and they have a literacy of well-being themselves, so that when they interact with the students, they can impart these skills and this knowledge. But we also want to make it relevant to the Sri Lankan context, to make it culturally relevant and appropriate. We're committed to providing support to institutions in Sri Lanka so that we can contribute to a systemic change in the field of education in Sri Lanka. And because we are a small organization, we are working with partners to achieve scale and to be more efficient. Our personal goal is to have a measurable impact on Sri Lankan students. We want to see that we have actually made a change and that Sri Lankan students have moved away from an exam-based education system, and that they're more well-rounded, their emotional intelligence is high, they have socio-emotional skills, they're competent, they're able to articulate their emotions, they're able to regulate it, express it.
So what we see in the Sri Lankan education system is an obsession with the exam success at the exclusion of extracurricular activities, which are very important for character building and building values, which will eventually translate into happiness and success for these children. And that's why Life Lanka seeks to impart these skills in a creative way to community centers, to schools, to teachers, especially to develop the skills of resilience through understanding your strengths and working on developing your strengths is known to be a scientifically researched way of helping disadvantaged communities to deal with the adversity they go through.
අපි ලංකාවේ විවිධ පළාත්වල ගුරුවරුන් සහ විදුහල්පතිවරුන් සමග සාකච්ඡාවක් කරා. ඒකෙදි අපිට දැනගන්න ලැබුණා ජීවන කුසලතා කියන සංකල්පය කොච්චරක් දුරට දරුවන්ට සමාජයට ආවට පස්සේ මේ තියෙන ඒගොල්ලෝ මූණ පාන ගැටලු වලට කොච්චරක් දුරට ජීවන කුසලතා කියන්නේ වටිනවද කියන එක. ඒත් එක්කම අපිට දැනගන්නට ලැබුණා මේ කුසලතා දරුවන්ට ලබා දෙන්න පුළුවන් හොඳම තැන පාසල කියලා. මොකද වර්තමානයේ දරුවන්ගේ දෙමව්පියන්ගේ තියෙන කාර්යබහුලත්වය හින්දා දරුවන්ට ඉස්සර වගේ දෙමව්පියන් එක්ක ලොකු සම්බන්ධතාවයක් පවත්වාගෙන යන්න බෑ. ඉතින් ඒක හින්දා අපි හිතුවා ගුරුවරුන්ට තමයි හොඳම අවස්ථාව තියෙන්නේ කියලා දරුවන්ට මේ දේවල් උගන්වන්න. Learn for Life Lanka හරහා ගුරුවරුන්ගේ සහ කලාකරුවන්ගේ දායකත්වය එක්ක අපි විවිධ ව්‍යාපෘති දරුවන් තුළ ප්‍රචලිත කරන්න අපි කලිනුත් කරලා තියෙනවා ඉදිරියටත් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
So Learn for Life Lanka in the last 4 years and in the future intend to try to teach teachers, parents and indeed children these vital life skills, what we call in Sri Lanka Jivana Kusalata, that are important for these communities to flourish.
We are working with international experts, scholars and practitioners like Dr. Tayyab Rashid.
Now, stresses and setbacks are inevitable part of our contemporary world. We face the challenges of a global pandemic, environmental crisis, racial injustices, economic disparities, political turmoil. Against the backdrop of these massive issues, we also paradoxically find that income increased fourfolds in last 50 years. Our longevity has increased. We have more gadgets and we are living longer. Yet the mental health has been steadily deteriorating. In my view, the best approach might be to harness their skills, especially their strengths, teach them skills to use their strengths to encounter the challenges our young people face. And published studies have shown that if we can harness our positive resources such as character strengths, positive emotions, a sense of meaning and purpose, these in combination can provide a buffering effect to mitigate mental illnesses. SBR, Strength-Based Resilience, is an educational version of PPT, and after a number of trials, we learned our lessons, especially working in marginalized communities with teachers. We learned the skills that are necessary to increase their resilience. The program begins by asking to recall a narrative of their resilience when overcame a challenge, which sort of set up trajectory to explore their own internal resources. From recalling, writing, sharing, we'll do some skills that sometimes our thinking becomes clouded. As you can see, it's a cloud, gray cloud. What are the skills that we can use to clarify our thinking, to think more accurately, to see things more clearly, as well as flexibly? A big challenge with resilience or lack of it is when we become very rigid. So part of the job is to open mind as well as your heart. After clearing the weeds, we set the stage, identify their strengths, to give them a sort of a 360 perspective of their strengths. And after they compile their signature strength profile, as we call it, we teach them the skills to use these strengths in an adaptive, in a wise manner, knowing where to use kindness, when to be kind, and when to be fair. So these skills also helps them to connect their strengths with everyday problems.
එතකොට ඇත්තටම ශ්‍රී ලංකාවට ඉතාමත්ම අත්‍යවශ්‍යම වැඩසටහනක්. මොකද කොවිඩ් සිටුේෂන් එකක් එක්ක සහ ඒකෙන් පස්සේ ළමයින්ගේ මානසිකත්වය කොයිතරම් කඩාවැටලාද කියලා අපි දැන් අද දකිනවා ඉස්කෝලේ ගිහම. ඒකත් එක්කම දරුවන්ට ජීවිතේ ජය ගන්නනේ අධ්‍යාපනය තුළ විභාග ක්‍රමවේදය පමණක්ම ඇත්තටම අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. විභාගයේ නෙවෙයි ජීවිතය කියන්නේ. ඒ තුළ අපිට මේ දරුවන් තුළ තියෙන skills සහ strength ඒ ශක්තිය ටික අපි හඳුනා ගන්න ගුරුවරු විදියට අපිව නැවත වතාවක් එතනට මතක් කිරීමක් කරා.
Because I have always thought these concepts such as love, kindness and generosity as mere qualities. But I now know that they are strengths that we can incorporate in order to fight the battles that we may go across while we live to the end of our lives. So I think the essence of this program need to be incorporated within our curriculum.
And our objective is to foster a resilient generation in Sri Lanka and to give them the tools, the skills and the mindset to grapple and to deal with adversities which are inevitable in life and in the nation. Sri Lankan students are faced with enormous challenges and adversities, and we hope that in some way that our program will contribute to equipping them with skills, tools and mindset to deal with these adversities in a productive and a meaningful manner, and that they will indeed be a resilient generation.